Welcome back to another episode of the Fit and Professional Podcast. I'm your host, Breeze, and today we have a super special guest that I'm honored, a brother of mine, entrepreneur, founder of Own Pace Athletics, Own Pace Run Club. He's a stock and investment enthusiast. That's the best way I could probably describe it. He wears multiple hats. Olan Adeyemi, man, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, my brother. This has been a long time coming.
I know,
Finally
right?
happy to be here, man.
Yeah. What did I miss when it came to some of the hats? I know
You didn't miss anything. I'm just multi-hyphenate. That's what you call it at this point. I just do a lot of things. I have a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests. I don't like to be stagnant. I like to keep trying new things. Just have a full life.
Yeah, the whole human, right?
The whole human.
We're going to get into that.
Yes,
just a little foreshadowing to start the show.
Yep.
So, man, this is the Fit and Professional Podcast. You're someone who definitely embody what it means to be fit and professional, and our brands align. We've been locked in. People see us doing a bunch of content together ever since we met. I can't remember, when did we first meet? What was that? Like
Pre-COVID, right before COVID.
Yeah.
So like 2019,
Yeah. And just been locked in and just been cultivating that relationship ever since. It's still more to come.
I feel like we're just getting started.
Just getting started.
Yeah. The alignment happened exactly at the right time.
Yeah. Divine timing is always, that's the best way to go about it. Don't force
sure.
it. It's all natural. You know what I mean? So, but we'll jump into it, man. Speaking of fitness, when it comes to Own Pace, how did that come about? Like, the name is simple, but it has such a profound meaning. Own Pace.
So like the name Own Pace itself is like a guiding principle. I wanted to create something for myself because I don't want to use the word lost, but I had no direction at one point in my life and trying to figure it all out. Fitness, my profession at work, relationships, trying to just figure it out. So I started like this journey of self-discovery. And on that path, the fitness, I dialed into work, got a couple promotions, just being in that space, figuring out and navigating, I figured out some things. Now I call them like the universal truths, principles that I know no matter what you're trying to do in life, they work. So along that path, I wanted to find a name that captivated it all, just about journey, but not just for me, for everybody else. So being able to share it where it's not an Olan thing, it's just whoever you are, you can go at your own pace, find out what you like, what you want to do, because even fitness, we all don't train the same. Like sometimes I look at your work, I was like, damn, I wish I could do that, but it's not like my training style, but it's like your own pace, it's your own style, your own lane,
Right.
So that's how the name came about. It's just giving people the courage to do their own thing and just do it unapologetically.
Yeah, you said something, you just said it and it reminded me, you told me before when it came to the, naming your fitness brand, you're a personal trainer and things of that nature. Most people call like their name like Fitness by Olan and things like that. So the fact that you just said that you wanted to give people ownership in the name and it's not just yours, like that, I feel like that embodies the type of person you are. You're a giving person. And the name, speaks for itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. How long have you been, where did the fitness aspect come in? Like, give me a little backstory.
From just being in Nigeria, I grew up in Nigeria, just trying to play soccer, playing around. And then when I knew I was going to move to America, transition to basketball, because I knew soccer wasn't big here. And that was like my real introduction into learning fitness, because there are no coaches out there. There's no gyms when I was growing up. So it's like I had to really learn on my own. And that was like my beginning journey. It's like, I got to figure this out. So whether it was watching clips on like Sports Center when we had electricity, or just finding books wherever you could find it. But that's why I started taking notes about fitness, learning, asking just other athletes in Nigeria, like, what do you do? Learning push-ups. Well, just however I could learn. That's how I fell in love with Kobe, because I could find work ethic in him. And then he always had clips of him working out and training, and it wasn't just basketball, it was the training aspect. So I was like, all right, this is my guy, this is who I'm going to follow. And then that was like my love for training, is just you can be better, and my goal was to be an athlete. So it was like, let's do it.
Yeah, and you're still an athlete now, even after basketball and things of that nature.
Yeah, and that's why I named the brand Own Pace Athletics, because I wanted to keep the athlete there,
aspect to it. Yeah. So is your training like based on, I know it's, case by case per client, but your foundation, it was basically founded through like being an athlete.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So people can be encouraged that even if we're older, we all still have that athlete
and
within
us. And I feel
us.
like now we need it more, because when I played sports, you have practice, you have games, like it was easy for me to stay in shape. When I started working in corporate America, I gained weight. And that was the second aspect of trying to find myself. Is like, man,
Yeah.
I'm heavy. I'm sitting at this desk. I'm sedentary. It's like, wait, I'm just used to being lean, having abs. And I was like, no, I got to figure out a new way to do this.
it.
And that's why like defining my clients was very important. It was like millennials, working class people, people who are trying to figure it out and navigate different things, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a corporate job. You know, fitness is the foundation of it all. Like your health is priority, but you can get boggled down and just work. So it was trying to figure it out and solve that problem. Like, how can we manage all these things and still be fit?
Yeah, that's the whole message behind the brand and
Yep.
your brand as well. That's why it's such a perfect parallel. And my story is the same. I was working for the government, you know, coming from playing college ball, like, you know, we good, we stay in shape and things like that. But now, you know, it's another birthday party in the office. Somebody bringing in donuts, and it's like, I'm good. They ain't gonna sit on me. But then you look in the mirror, like, what happened? So that's how my fitness journey started too.
Yeah.
Getting myself back in shape, getting myself mentally back. You know, after that transition, you know, the transition from playing sports to becoming a professional.
Yeah,
and
it's a tough one.
it's
Not
a
just
tough one.
physically, but mentally too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're used to a certain level of performance and standing, just that being like not taken away, but transitioning to the next phase of life. It's like, well, I have to rediscover myself.
Yeah, I know you know people that, you know, in the basketball world are small because we all kind of have the same type of stories. Like, there's still people that are struggling with that. And luckily, you know, it took me a little minute, but I'm glad that doesn't still captivate me, because it could take you to a really
And
dark
not to
place.
go back to the name, but that's what On Pace defined. It was like, yo, basketball was my identity.
Yeah.
It was all I knew about myself. And losing that is like, who am I? So that's why it's like, nah, I got to find my own pace. Like, the first logo was just footsteps.
Okay.
It was like, I just got to find my own pace. And that's kind of how I fell in love with running too. It's like just one step in front of the other. I just got to find my own pace.
Yeah.
You know, your own pace, you find your own lane, you find your own way, you find your own people.
Yeah.
You build your tribe, and that's it.
That's a fact.
It's a simple guiding principle, but it works.
Yeah, and that's why I love running as well, because when you're out there running marathons and things of that nature, there's so many people ahead of you, so many people behind you. It don't matter how fast someone's going, you still have to run your own race.
It's your
You know
own
what I
race.
mean? And you don't know everybody's going to face some type of challenge in a race, but you don't know what yours might be. It might be cramping up. And then somebody got to come save you like you did me. A marathon.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's dope, man. So speaking of that, like the evolution of Own Pace, you started in what year?
In 2015. So like,
Wow.
Yeah, we're 10 years this year. So
10
end
years.
of March,
Congratulations.
10 years, yeah. I was on a run today, and the notification came up on my watch. Actually,
10
it
years.
was like, March, because I was sending emails to the guy that designed the initial logo.
Yeah.
So like, I bookmarked certain things when he sent me the first rendition of the email, and that came up on my watch
Wow.
today. I was like, whoa, it's 10 years. Right.
Congratulations, because
Thank you.
any business making it 5 years is making it to the next year is tough in
I
itself.
know.
You know what I mean? So congratulations, and I know it's going to be many more great years. Own Pace has more layers to it, and there's other things that we'll get into.
Thank you, man.
It's crazy you say that, because the guy who made the FP logo, I found him on Facebook because all the logos, I've tried many different things, right? So I used to have a beard butter. He made that logo.
Yeah.
He made a logo when I was doing Herbalife. Like, I've been locked in with him.
I
and
did
I always went
Herbalife
back to him. Yeah. I tell people, yo, shout out to Herbalife, because that was where it really started for me, like the entrepreneurial and just believing, because their personal development aspect, it always stayed with me. They're big on like listening to Jim Rohn. I still listen to Jim Rohn. I tell people all the time, like I still use I drink their teas at the local shops and things like that. The business model wasn't for me, but you know, I'm definitely thankful
teaches
for
you
it.
entrepreneurial structure,
Yes.
and gives you access to leaders,
Yes.
leadership structures. Like, it's a very good model to
it
develop
works.
you. I liked it when I did it.
Yeah, it definitely works. So now, all right, 10 years now, we have Own Pace Run Club. All right, tell me a little bit about that. It's a new run clubs like boomed over the last couple years, and you know, it was kind of in the making. You know, you've always been an enthusiast and talked about doing it, and you always someone that takes action on it. So tell me a little bit about the origin of Own Pace Run Club. how it started, where it's at now, and what your plans are for the future.
Yeah, so my association with running was always bad. You know, like you mess up in practice, you do suicides. And then I was in the Air Force 8 years. Even with that, it was like you're running for a PT test or you're running for something. So it was never like, oh, you guys have to go run. It was never a good feeling. Then fast forward 2020, the whole world is shut down. All the gyms are closed. And it was like, now we're working from home. Like you're even more sedentary than ever. The trail that we have here in Wilmington on the riverfront, I just started there. I just started doing mile by mile each day, almost every other day. And then on Sundays, my runs just started getting longer because I didn't have anything else to do, no work. So I push. Today I'll go for 4. Today I'll go for 5. And during that time, like there was so much happening with me mentally that those runs were like therapy. It was like a release. Like it was just me, the sounds of the earth, and my thoughts. Like I had to deal with my thoughts. And it just gave me more clarity. It was like a meditation. Like it was just me and my thoughts in front of my face, and I had to deal with it. And the longer the runs got, the better I felt. And I was like, I can't keep this to myself. Same thing with like everything I figured out on the path of training. It's like I learned this, and then that's what I learned in like finance. Like when you learn things, it's your responsibility to share it. In finance, it's called a fiduciary. So that's the same way I feel about fitness, just life in general, whether it's travel. It doesn't matter what it is, just share it with the people. So that was my love for running. I was like, I can't have this just for me. So I'll hit you, I'll hit a couple of people, and I was like, let's go on runs. And that's how we started getting closer. We started doing more runs together. And I was like, put us in a group chat and a text. I was like, let's start a run club. We sat on it for a year.
Yeah,
it was just
we
gave it all these different names and different versions. But I knew if I was gonna put my heart into it, it needed something I believed in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I texted the group chat one day. I was like, hey, we're changing the name. It's gonna be On Pace Run Club, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, because you were hesitant. You were hesitant because you didn't want to feel like you were like keeping it to like it's like, oh, this is mine. Like you made it clear you were hesitant. We were all like, no, like that name sounds the best. Like you like, what are you talking about? And
because we were starting a new entity, so I didn't want it to be like just me. You know how I am with that stuff. So it was like, let's all own it. Let's all come up with a name and go from there. It's just for me deep into my heart. I was like, no, we gotta.
Yeah, it made sense. It makes the most sense, especially like it's simple, but it's profound. Like we're all at our own pace. The dynamic of our run club is like it's indicative of the name. Like when people will come out to the track, you see people walking, some people sprinting, some people keeping up with Coach Chris. You know what I mean? Like it's all different levels, and that's what I love about it the most, man. And it's changing lives too.
I really believe in omens. For anybody who hasn't read The Alchemist, read it. But when I was developing the brand in the beginning, I read The Alchemist at the same time. I've read it before, but when I'm going through life and want to make a big change, I reread that book. And it talks about omens, like just pay attention to the guides. So any fitness class I took, whether it was online, YouTube, they will always say, just go at your own pace. For me, it was just confirmation about the name of the brand. I was like I got it tatted on me because I believe in it so much. So that was like confirmation. Like I had other names for like the brand in the beginning, but it's like that one was it. It does like just pay attention now. Anytime you take any fitness class, they'll say go at your own pace.
Yeah, you versus you. It's always the same thing.
It's ours now. We own that name.
That's a fact. This is going to be season 3 coming up.
Season 3.
Do you have anything exciting? Because people, when I tell you that people reach out to me every day, like, because a couple of my clients came to Run Club, like, when are we starting? Like, da 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 da. So I don't know when this is going to come out, but is there anything you can like give us a preview for season 3?
Season 3, all I can say right now is it's gonna be our best year yet. Since season 2 ended, I started planning for season 3 that day because the growth of season 2 was very fulfilling. Like, we had our first race as a collective, and it was like, wow, look at what we've built. Our numbers kept growing week after week. But season 3, we have a lot of fun things planned. Like, for every level of runner. If you're elite and you want to train for races, if you're just getting into running and you want to run your first mile, we have something for you. So we have something for everybody. And I think this year very much more structured. The schedule's gonna come out ahead of time. Everybody's gonna know where to run, and then we're gonna do more trails. I think a lot of people enjoy traveling to different trails, and we want to hit some other parts, not just Wilmington. So yeah, there's some exciting things.
Yeah,
and you know some of the things.
I got it. Look, I can't say that. So don't come at me talking about what else y'all got behind the scenes. Listen, you just gotta be patient.
Stuff, man.
Delayed gratification, y'all.
Best season yet, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. Just the people that come out, the community that the Run Club is building is super fulfilling. Like you said, like we didn't expect that many people. I remember one day we were like, yo, it's like 70 plus people out here. Like we like, yo. So, but man,
you know
it's dope.
me, like I'm always nervous before Run Club because I don't know if people are gonna show up. And this season 2 is just gratifying every day, just seeing more and more people sharing it. Like after we finish a run, like I can't keep up with the reposts and the shares of like so I just love the energy of what we did season 2.
Yeah, no, that's dope, bro. Man, I'm super excited for that, and you know, stay tuned. For On Pace Run Club, definitely check us out. Follow the page, On Pace Run Club, self-explanatory. So you talked about, you know, you having a corporate job and you have a lot of hats that you wear. How do you balance that? How do you balance your fit and professional lifestyle?
Honestly, it's a struggle because I do a lot of different things. What I've tried to do now is start to be more intentional, dialing back. Like I talked to you a little bit about some of the struggles with trying to manage a lot of things. Just being more intentional and scheduled, like having my routine dialed in, because it's a lot. Work demands a lot from me. Photography demands a lot of me. One thing I had to learn was I can't say yes to everything. So even with running, like I had marathon preps on the calendar, but I had to scale back because that's another job. That's another requirement of something you have to do. So with photography, even picking specific clients and brands that align with me instead of just taking every shoot. You know, at work saying, okay, while I'm at work, I'm gonna focus on work, not work and then responding to like on-pace emails and looking at you know, just being more intentional with my time because I was just spread too thin.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that. Doing multiple things, like we both have multiple hats that we wear, running multiple businesses. I forgot some frozen moments. That's what I forgot. I didn't forget it, but it was just, he does a lot, I told y'all, but that's so important, bro. Like, because you can find yourself like, hey, I'm calling for real estate right now. Now I get an FP order. Now I get this and that. It's like, no, you have to single task. Time blocking has definitely saved me. Like, it's like, hey, if it's not on the calendar at that time, don't do it. Close the email out for FP or close the email out for some frozen moments or whatever it is and lock in on that. That's been a game changer. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even with that, it's like I've been more intentional in the things I create. Like I gave you behind the scenes look at the accountability partner.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to
come out. But right now, it's just all about structure and helping just define it. And, you know, I always use myself as the proof of concept with everything. As I use it, as I learn, then I can share it with people. Like, hey, this worked for me. You try this out, you know. And that's just, I feel like that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
You know, help people navigate this whole life thing.
Yeah. Like we're going to ever figure it out?
Yeah.
Nah, just messing. But that's the part of it. That's the beauty in it, the journey. You know what I mean? Life is not about figuring it out. It's about who you become on the journey.
Embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey. Look, as you said it. And you said it too, man, like learning to say no. You can't say yes to everything. I struggle with that. You know, I told myself, I was at a Connect event and they were saying, what's your theme of this year? And I was just like, no. Like learning to say no to certain stuff and also saying no to some of the ideas that I have. And maybe not ever, but maybe not right now. Because you can burn yourself out trying to do every single thing. You know what I mean? It's like a blessing and a curse to have those ideas. And most of them come to me when I'm running. And it's like, yo, how I execute this? I might hit up Shane, like, yo, let's do this crazy idea. You know what I mean? But it's fun.
That's the clarity from running. You get a lot of clarity. Running and meditation give me a lot of clarity. The reason I started doing more silent runs without headphones is like when I meditate, right? I used to try to silence my thoughts. Now meditation for me has become the most important thoughts come to the forefront. So the thing that you can't get rid of in your head is what you should be focused on. And that's what meditation has become for me. So sometimes I'm going on a run. I'm trying to run away from something, a thought, something I'm supposed to be doing. And the run puts it right in front of me. I can't get it out of my head. Same thing with meditation. So even when I'm on my mat for yoga, it's like you're breathing, taking deep breaths. It's like it brings that thought to the front of your head and you have to deal with it.
Yeah. Speaking of yoga, I saw you on some of your posts say that that's like your favorite thing to do, right? How did that come about, and what are the benefits do you feel yoga plays into your
So
lifestyle?
yoga came about for two things. Injury prevention from running. I was always tight, especially after a long run. And then I started picking up golf, as you know, and because I had a lot of muscle, it couldn't get into my swing. So I started that for physical reasons.
Mobility.
Just mobility, trying to get my ankles right, my shoulder. You know how hard your body gets after a long run. So that was the origin of yoga. It was just to get my flexibility and my stretching. And us as lifters, like, we don't really want to warm up before lifts. We just want to get into
right to it.
So yoga became that for me in the beginning.
Okay.
And then the more I got deeper into the practice and the mat, it became synonymous with life. Like, that's why it's called yoga practice. And now I have a life practice. All of it is practice.
Right.
So for me now, it's just sitting on my mat, breathing, going through different poses. And one of my coaches, he was like, the hardest thing in yoga is acceptance. Being able to, like, we're both athletes and we can't hold a certain pose. It's like, it's frustrating. But yoga allows you to accept that. It
when you
gives
start
you different
breathing,
places to go with that pose. Like, you can just lay on your mat. They always say, worst case scenario, just lay down and breathe.
just breathe.
Yeah.
Most of the time in the yoga flow, I normally do like YouTube videos. It's a quick 10 to 15 minute ones. And most of the time when I'm struggling with like pigeon or something like that, when I just breathe, I notice when I'm struggling because I'm tense, right? And when I just breathe, now my body is allowing me to get it. I'm earning it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
More pliable. Like, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the power of the breath, man. It's the one thing nobody taught you how to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
And like now, I'm give y'all this as a gem. The first thing I do when I wake up is just sit and take a full deep breath in. It's just basically acknowledging that I'm not doing this on my own will, on my own accord. Like, you're sleeping and you're still breathing. It's like I wake up and it's just acknowledging, like, higher power. Thank you. It's like I'm taking this deep breath in. But that's how I start my day every day now. It's just I just sit for a second. One deep breath is just an acknowledgement. Like, I'm not doing this on my own. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah. You still, when you wake up another day, like that gratitude that you said, it just gives you perspective that, like, hey, no matter what happened yesterday, at the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you got another opportunity to fulfill your purpose or figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about it.
My coach used to say, at the end of the day got to end.
They got to end. At the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
I remember Calvin, Cal, he texted me that one day. He's a business owner as well. And he said that, and I was just like, man, thank you. I just had a crazy day. You know what I mean? I feel like the higher power does that. Like, he knows when to send you certain messages when you need it. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, you got to listen. You gotta listen to the messages, and I think for me, that was a lot of my struggles. It was like I wasn't listening to the messages that were right in front of me. Now part of this whole growth, and is just being able to listen to them and know which ones are messages. And I don't know if you remember my IG name at one point. It used to be like No Wrong Turns.
Yeah.
It was just learning, but that came from running during the pandemic. Like, I'll go on a new route and I'll just make a left. I didn't care where it led me to because I didn't care about the miles anymore. It wasn't about that. So there were no wrong turns. I would just go. It didn't matter. I'll make it back home.
Make it back.
Yeah.
You're not sure what obstacle you may face. You thought you were going this direction, but this obstacle took you that way. Okay, now I didn't know. If I didn't go this way, now I wouldn't have seen it. You might not have had that thought that you had when you seen a tree or something like that.
And that's why I think sports for us is very important because, as a basketball player, that's what your pivot is for. It's like you jab step, you see, should I go this way? You're reading the defense. That's what it's all about. Like, when there's a new variable, the defense double teams you could use your pivot, you could pass,
There's
you can
options.
shoot. It's options, but stay in your pivot.
Stay in your pivot.
Yeah.
And learning and knowing that sometimes you have to pivot. Simple as that. Redirection.
That's where your crossover is. Like, yep. You see the obstacle, just cross over.
Yeah.
Like, I learned a lot from sports, and now as I'm older, running is my teacher. Running and yoga, they're my current teachers.
Yeah. And so just going back to the basketball metaphor, I used to be like when I used to jab step, like I played at one speed, just fast, just go. And as I started developing and learning and things of that nature, when I slowed down, I realized when I slow down now, I can see that, okay, I don't got to just blow by this guy. Maybe I can now I can cross slow. Like, and then just like in life, if if you slow down sometimes, now it makes that pivot, it makes that crossover into the next chapter or the next whatever facet of your life. It makes it that much easier and clearer.
And like that's one key gem. Sometimes, you know, we're putting a puzzle together and we're too close to it to see that this corner piece fits right here. But this is why having a dream vision is very important. When you get a puzzle, one of the things they give you is a picture of the end result. This is what it's supposed to look like. So whatever it is, you can always step back and look at the picture and be like, all right, this is what's supposed to look back. Oh, now you know this corner piece fits right here. So sometimes just step back, step away. And that's what I did going into the year. I sent you at the end of 2024 my list of races, London, Cali. And, you know, I had to step back, like, what does this serve right now? And then I saw other pieces to the puzzle. And look at how much has happened. The app is ready. More things have happened because I took away something that I thought was extremely important. But I just stepped back and like, that piece doesn't fit the vision right this second.
Yeah, that's really a good gem. Like, just like taking another example, like with artwork, right?
Yeah.
You can look at a picture, but if you're too close to it, like sometimes you got to step back and see like, oh, wow, that was a face right there. Like, so just like you're building that masterpiece in your life, sometimes you got to take a step back and reevaluate. And what you said, make that decision.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not going to run, but you got other priorities right now that you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's dope. Yeah. Speaking of that, man, take me through real quick before we close out and go to our last segment. You talked about what you do every day in the morning. What is a normal day like for you? Like I know it switches, but give me like the most standard day for you.
Yeah, the most standard day I say is a Monday. Mondays are my best days. They're my most locked in days. So I say wake up 4:30, try to do my morning routine. That's why I created that calendar because I miss it some days. So wake up at 4:30, try to do my morning routine. My first session is at 5:30 or 6. So I take care of me first. I used to have 5 a.m. sessions, but I had to cut that because I needed more me time. So it's like I have to give up something. So now let's say I start at 6 and I go from 6 to about 8. Come back, get ready for work. I have my 9 to 5. I either work from home or go to the office. Now my company is back office full time. So go to the office, I work, get out around 4:30. Get back to the gym at 5, train to about 8, 8:30, and then come home, and then it's now my other projects begin, whether I'm editing something or working on some newsletters or something for another brand. Do that till before would be whenever I get tired. Now I'm trying to get better sleep because as I'm getting older, sleep is important, especially as we're training, running, recovery is important. So I try to be in the bed by 12. And wake up again at 4:30. But you know, that's a typical day. Some days are better than others.
Yeah.
And I've learned to ride momentum. So like if I'm in a place where I just have energy, I have a burning idea. Like during the holidays, you saw me, I was just working on that app nonstop because I had the energy, I had the momentum. It was like, let's keep going. Yeah. So those days I'll sacrifice sleep. I'm not advising you to do it, but for my vision, for my goals is what I need to do.
Yeah. You sacrifice it now so you can get more of it in the future. Yeah, man. That's a big thing, man. The Compound Effect from Darren Hardy, great book, quick read, talks about Big Mo, the momentum. It takes a lot of momentum to get started. And sometimes it's tough to get creative ideas, especially like someone that's a creative all the time. You may get those lulls where you're like, something, I need to get back into that. The slump is hard to get out of. So once you have it, you got to ride with it. It's like that steamrolling train. It takes a lot of energy to get it moving, but you don't want to get in front of it when that thing moving. Sure. So that's dope, bro. And you mentioned it, you segued into what I was going to ask you about anyway, the app, man. Tell me a little bit about your new app and the Whole Human, man. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the app is called Whole Human, and you know, it took me a while to settle on this, right? And I've been talking about universal truths. Like, what I'm trying to solve for is, in today's current generation, with this present life, how do we live sustainably? Because, you know, I started as a trainer. That's why On Pace is that. Whole Human by On Pace is the evolution of it all. Think of it this way. We have 168 hours in a week. Even if you train 7 hours, 1 hour every day, that's still 161 left. So your fitness, your health, your lifestyle, even if you work 8 hours, there's still so many hours left in a day. So I had to realize it's not the 7 hours you're training, it's the other 161 that determines your health. And now as I'm getting older, I realize sleep is important. Certain things are important. Family time is important. Relationships are important. So creating that Whole Human where you're not just amazing in one sector of life. You know from frat is achievement in every field of human endeavor. So that's what I'm solving for right now. It's like the whole human. How do we live in present day, 2025 and beyond, sustainably, healthy, physical, mental? How can you manage all your relationships, whether it's family, whether it's significant other, whether it's work? How can we figure that out and live going forward? So right now it starts as a app with different sections, fitness, meditation, but that's just the beginning. Like that's just the foundation. That's just the template. Yeah. It's gonna evolve into so much more, whether it's sustainable living, from gardening, whether it's travel retreats, like being able to step back and look at my big picture is why whole human is important to me. We did a trip together. You see how it is. So being able to cultivate that now, we add meditations, we had yoga in the morning, we had just lifestyle, eating certain types of foods, exposing yourself to different countries, just have to have a full life. One of my favorite Drake lines is, when it's all said and done, more will be done than said. It's like, that's one of my favorite lines. And it's like, that's what I want whole human to be. It's like, when it's all done for me, I want to have done something in this world that impacts generations to come. And I think a whole human is that next philosophy. This first 10 years has been on pace. And I figured out my own pace now, my own cadence. So now it's the evolution is whole human.
It's whole human. Yeah. That's dope. I was going to ask you to leave us with a gem, but you gave us gems throughout the whole episode. Man. That Drake bar is like,
listen.
Say that again for us. We need that again.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bars, man. When it's all said and done, more will be done than said. Yeah, it's like, people say a lot. It's like, we just want to do more than we say.
Yeah. I was talking to someone, it might have been on the episode, I think it was one of the previous episodes. We live in that generation now where it's like, because of social media, because we're documenting in real time. Before, we just had to read books. But like now, like you're living your social proof. So when it's all said and done, right? And we see everything that we did during our life, our Earth experience, you can't debate it. Of course we got AI, but. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's one of my most prominent thoughts. I was teaching, mentoring a couple of kids the other day, and I told them, they're in the greatest generation to have ever lived. Now, I know you're religious, so imagine if you saw Jesus turn water into wine. If you saw it with your own eyes, there'll be no doubt. We have that power today. You created FP from your brain. There's no doubt 100 years from now that you created something, that you did something magnificent. People have doubt because they never saw it. But it's the same thing. Now we get to document our own selves and leave proof of our existence on our own. We can do it. Nobody has to tell that story. It's not in a book. It's like the evolution, the revolution is being televised by us.
Literally.
We're telling our own stories. It's like, so that's it right there.
Yeah. That's a beautiful part about it too, because you can't say you got to wait for somebody to put you on. Yeah, there's certain doors that you need to be open for you, and when it gets to a certain level, but literally you can kick down the door. There's so many different platforms now. We see it every day. People are becoming them best selves, and we talk about monetary, becoming millionaires overnight from the work they're putting in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it may not happen overnight, but if you just keep pushing, eventually you'll get there. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, man. So we're going to transition into our quick rapid fire question just to close us out. So you said you gave us a book reference earlier, but one book or podcast that changed your mindset?
Book. No, I can't. The Way of the Superior Man.
The Way of the Superior Man.
That's a great book. I recommend that one. The other one I was going to say has a curse word in it, so I'm not going to say
What, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a...
Yes. Yeah, that's a great book.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right. Favorite workout or training method?
Functional. And when I say functional, it's not a specific type of workout. It's the workout that allows you to live your life to the best of your ability. That's how I train my clients. It's like, what do you do in daily life? Are you a construction worker? Now you don't need a bunch of heavy lifts. You need more mobility, more cardio, more core, and then incorporate strength. So what do you do in your life? If you're very sedentary, you need more movement.
No, I wanted you to extend upon it. So
but
we
that's
all
what
good.
functional is for me. It's like figuring out what the person needs to live their life.
Their life. Okay. All right. Now taking it to the professional side, the most valuable lesson you learned when it comes to business.
When it comes to business is understanding what you're solving for. A lot of people know what they do. They don't know why they do it. A lot of businesses are just businesses. There's no reason. They're not solving for anything. It's like, you create a product. And I always tell people, because you know how to do something doesn't mean you have to create a business around it. Like that's why we have a lot of small businesses. Like, I'm a barber, I know how to cut hair, I'm gonna create a barbershop. But knowing why you're doing something allows you to elevate and grow that brand. Like, you know, I knew why I started On Pace, and that has allowed the evolution into Whole Human, because I'm still solving for that. It's just as we grow, as we live, that X gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how you scale. So I just say, know what you're solving for, know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And money is not the answer. Money is an outcome, is a result. It's not the actual why.
Hey, all right, we gotta keep going. All right, I was just letting that sink in. That was dope, bro. All right, if we could go back to Nigeria and you could talk to your younger self, what advice would you give to young Olan?
I'll tell young Olan, be patient.
Okay.
It will all happen. Like, be very patient. I feel like I was very eager in a lot of things. And like, everything you're chasing, everything you were dreaming for, it'll be there for you. It's all there. Like, you know, I was having a conversation the other day. It's like, I've accomplished a lot of what young Olan dreamed for. It almost got scary because it was like, what's next? It's like, I've done a lot of it. You know? So it's like, I'll tell them, just be patient. There's no rush. Just be patient. Go at your own pace. That's what I'll tell them.
Own pace. It keeps coming back. And my last question, you actually just said it. What's next for Olan?
What's next is building more community.
Okay.
Because now I feel like, especially with AI and technology, things are becoming very technological, and we're building more metaverses. So I want to be able to create more human experiences, and that's why Whole Human is part of it, because it's not just for me. The more whole humans we have together, we have a better world. Yeah,
that's a fact. You said something too. With AI, I feel like all the technology, I feel like humans are now craving that in-person experience more, and we need it because we don't want to get too out of touch with it. So
and not to call any businesses out, but like a lot of the online platforms during the pandemic that thrived, you could see they're struggling now, which is the rise of the run clubs, because people need interpersonal connections. And, you know, that's why community is very important going forward. We got to stick together. We got to build community of like-minded people, and, you know, cross-pollinate our skill sets. And that's why I talk to you a lot. It's like, yo, you're doing this, I'm doing that. But there's a lot of synergy. There's a lot of places to cross-pollinate. Yeah,
that's a fact, man. And I really just want to say I appreciate all that you do, the genuineness and what you do. You give a lot to the world, bro. And I don't know if people tell you that enough. Like, and sometimes people do stuff for certain motives, but you can literally tell that you just really want to. I look at some comments when you post something. I was looking at a comment the other day. I was actually commenting, and someone said, "Man, you're just an amazing human." And I really can attest to that. Like, just every time I talk to you, you're not afraid to. You don't gatekeep information. You give out game. And you're literally, I think, the definition of the whole human. And I can't wait for more people to experience the whole human experience, everything that you got going, the collaborations we got going on. I'm super excited. Y'all better stay tuned for that, because it's coming very soon. FP, OP, you already know. Yeah. But man, I appreciate you, my brother, for coming on. Definitely, you can look in this camera and tell people where they can follow you, the app. How can we stay connected with Olan?
You can find me at Olan Adeyemi on Instagram. Just type On Pace Run Club, Whole Human app. It'll all come up, man. I'm easy to find.
Not hard to find. But yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you. That's another episode of the Fit and Professional Podcast with my guy, Olan Adeyemi. This was a lot of gems shared. Definitely hope that you tune in. We appreciate you supporting both of our endeavors. Can't wait to give you so much more. If you're local, stay tuned for some Run Club updates coming very soon for season 3. And until next time, keep embracing the journey and empowering the soul. See you next time. Peace.